Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello everybody, welcome to our Team Tuesday, this week with Priyanka Gorai. Hi Priyanka, welcome back.
Hi Vasco, thank you.
So Priyanka, on Tuesdays we talk about teams, but as usual, we start with the book, a resource that we can all learn from. So share with us, Priyanka, what was the book that most inspired you in your career as a Scrum Master?
It is the first book I was reading, I prefer to read, and that is about the Scrum, the art of doing twice the work in half of the time by Sutherland. So that's something I prefer to start my reading journey about Scrum. And I think that's the best decision I took. If I look back now, because that's the book where he explains with pure examples of what kind of challenges he faced and the team faced and how it was resolved by implementing Scrum. So, for example, the FBI story and the other stories which he have shared, he has explained it really well that what kind of challenges those teams were facing, how long the task was taking, years after years, they were waiting for things, and how easily it got resolved by implementing Scrum there. So that is really inspiring. That is something person like me who recently started with the Scrum Master role a few years back should read this book to know the history, to know the background of Scrum by the co-creator himself.
Yeah, absolutely. Sutherland, who is one of the co-creators of Scrum. And the book has been referred to here before, and you talked about some of the stories or inspiring stories that you read and liked from that book. So definitely a great recommendation. Priyanka, now we turn our attention to the teams and how sometimes the teams become their own worst enemies. They start developing these behaviors like patterns, small things that just happen in the meetings. They spiral out of control and create big problems for the team. So share that story, share the story of a team. Tell us a little bit about the context so that we know, it's the big team, big project, small project, whatever that is. Tell us that story and then walk us through how that small detail, that small behavior started to balloon out of control.
So I would like to share a story where I joined a team and I saw some self-destructive behavior in that team. The team was not very big, 10 people. And after joining, I felt that they were following Scrum for many years, but they don't understand it. And they have a lot of problem and objections with the way of working.
How did that look like? Like, what gave you the impression that even though they were doing Scrum, they didn't really understand what Scrum was about?
Yeah, so they had problem and objection with all the events, all the roles. For example, when I joined there as a Scrum Master, the first reaction I received, oh, another new Scrum Master, because before me, many of the Scrum Master, they joined and they left. Nobody survived there because I'm not sure what was the story, but maybe the team was not happy with that particular person or those roles, but they never had a good experience with the Scrum Master role. And when I joined, I saw that they were not following any time boxing. Like their meetings used to take many hours. For example, stand-up, which is normally a 15 minutes meeting, it used to take more than an hour. And also same for the other meetings. And they don't want to have retrospective. They were against having review meeting. For retrospective, the reason was that it is of no use. If we discuss our problems, they are never resolved. We are asking things for many years and nobody resolved it, no action taken. And for review meeting, they have a reason like the stakeholders, they are not giving us feedbacks, they are not interested, they are not regularly participating in the review meetings. Why should we have one? So that was the kind of thing that going on in that it was going on in that team, and the team was not happy. A very negative atmosphere in the team. The meetings, few of the people used to be very active and very much pointing towards things going wrong, always complaining. So that's how things were. Yeah, a very, very critical situation a team can be. Yeah.
Absolutely. And that's definitely not a great place to be when you join as a Scrum Master. Did you have any insights as to why the team got to that place of many Scrum Masters that had come and gone and they were still very negative and challenging every ceremony of Scrum?
I think that they don't have the clarity about the roles, like what a Scrum Master should do, what a product owner should do, what as a team member their responsibilities are. That was not very clear, and they had some expectation; those were not met, and it was a set of misunderstanding and miscommunication. I'll say when I started working with them, I started improving those part as well. I mean, I convinced them to have retrospective. First retrospective went really wrong, I'll say, because they were against it. They had the attitude that it will be of no use again. We just came here, we'll say things, and then it will be as it is. But then I took those things very seriously, took some actions, and after few sprints, those team members who said that we don't need a Scrum Master, we don't need a retrospective, said that, yeah, if a Scrum Master is like this, then we really need one.
So you started to show what it meant, right? Like
Yes,
you
yes.
said something good to highlight here. I took those items very seriously, right? The
Yes.
stuff that came out of the retrospective. And that kind of showed them the example that you were committed to helping them. And maybe that's what was missing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And also, I prepared a slide and invited them for a meeting where I explained each and every role and each and every event of Scrum, why we need it, and what should be discussed, because the understanding was very wrong. Retrospective is not somewhere you go and complain and that's it. No. Retrospective is also where you can appreciate each other. Yeah, and also take some action point for yourself. It's not for only complaining against the management, against the organization. No, retrospective is not for that. Retrospective is there to take action point and take action point for by the team, and not only for the outside people, not for the management. Yeah, that was the misunderstanding they had. I helped them to understand it, and things went well after that.
Yeah, absolutely. Helping teams understand that Scrum is there for them, not for others. It's a great story. Thank you for sharing that, Priyanka.
Thank you, Vasco.
Tuesday is Team Day here on the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. But tomorrow we talk about something that goes beyond the work we do with the teams. We will talk about how to lead change and what our guests have learned from leading and participating in change programs during their career. See you tomorrow. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.